adults that are living their faith vibrantly. So we have a core team of people at parishes that help with this ministry, and we set them up with tools to be very successful. And then Life Teen hosts some events around the country that parishes can come to. We have a partnership with Franciscan University of Steubenville with their youth conferences.
Oh, great.
This coming year, we'll be hosting 6 different summer youth conferences with the Franciscan University, ranging from down in Lone Star, the new Texas one that we launched this year, to Steubenville, New York City with Cardinal Dolan up there. So about 15,000 young people will go through these youth conferences in the summer, the different ones that Life Teen hosts, and over 40,000 will go through all the Steubenville youth conferences all over the country.
You know, I know these Steubenville youth conferences, sometimes they'll have altar calls for vocation pitches, you know, like literally, because it's such a moment of young people encountering the Lord. It's not just an emotional moment, but it's really an encounter with the Lord and a living, vital body of people, and the bishops or whoever's leading often invite people to come. What have you seen through Life Teen in terms of like seeding the church with vocations and things? Yeah, we just did a seminarian study through the NCDVD, and it's amazing. We came back, about 36% of the current seminarians in the U.S. are coming out of the parishes that are implementing Life Teen. Wow.
So the local priests and youth ministers are doing such a good job, because Life Teen's only in about 10% of the U.S. parishes. So when you think about that, 10% of the parishes are fueling 36% of the seminarians.
Wow,
right
imagine
now.
if that was 50% of the parishes, and you could that number could really, really grow.
And that's what's exciting. We're working on some models now that'll be a more scalable model of what we do with Life Teen to get it into even more parishes, even places that maybe they don't have the resources to have a paid youth minister, but there's just people with a heart for youth that they're able to reach out to them. We'll give them successful resources and support that will help them to be successful with young people in their parish. What's the
key ingredient for it to be a success at a parish in your experience? Or ingredient or two, if you'd like to say more than one, yeah?
Well, I think a key part is that the pastor, that there has to be a commitment to want to do something for youth. It's messy working with teenagers.
Yeah.
They require space, and they want to be. They don't want to be a side item in the church. They are part of our church now. It's not the future of the church. It is the church now, and they bring a vibrancy to it. So I think a commitment by the parish, primarily from the pastor, to make an investment in the youth at the parish, it pays gigantic dividends for the parishes that do that. We see it time and time again with the parishes that are implementing Life Teen. And then getting a group mentality where it's a group of people in a core team reaching out to teens, not one solo youth minister who when they leave then it all falls apart, but you have this dynamic of a community that's there supporting and loving teenagers. Yeah. And when those two things happen, and a commitment to really reaching teenagers through the model that we're presenting, it does amazing things for parishes. So how does then Life Teen connect young people more directly to the sacraments as you were describing earlier? What does that look like then in a typical week? One of the centerpieces for Life Teen is a weekly mass geared for teenagers, a Life Teen Mass at parishes. We bring in vibrant music. We provide liturgy planning guides for the priests and musicians so that they can plan a liturgy that's geared for teenagers. And much like advertising today, when you gear advertising for a 15-year-old, you actually get adults listening twice. Yeah. We find that within the church, that when you gear like your homily and you talk directly to a teenager for a few moments during that homily, the adults listen twice. So most masses, the Life Teen masses around the country and around the world, there's more adults going than teenagers. So it's not just a teenage liturgy mass, parish, so anybody from the parish could come. It's a vibrant parish mass. Yeah. Okay. And the adults, when you talk directly to the teens, they listen twice. It's amazing. Yep. Yeah. Yep. So there's that connection to the sacraments, and then we have a heavy emphasis on Eucharistic adoration as well to help young people to have some silent time in prayer and prayer in front of Jesus. Often opportunities for reconciliation, for them to go to confession, to be able to experience the Lord in that sacrament. So it's a natural thing for them, not just something that they experience when they're getting ready to have some big event in their life. How do you understand, Randy, the demographics of what's happening with the millennials? I was just reading a Pew report a couple of weeks ago, and that among the millennials, the nuns, those who have no religious affiliation, has increased to 35% of that population grouping, and that many baptized Catholics in that age grouping are drifting away and becoming, part of the nuns. Now, certainly I know young adults who are very strong and very believers, but the numbers are very sobering, more than what we've seen in the past. What do you see, and how do you
tried, what can Life Teen do? Because the next step is on to college, and that's when they kind of drift away. Have you given that some thought?
Absolutely. We don't think young people are leaving the church because they come and they hear the truth and they reject it. We think young people are leaving the church because they come to church and they hear it watered down. They're not hearing the message of love and what the church is really believes in. And so what we try to do in a relevant way is talk in the language of young people. Our website's getting over 500,000 visitors a week, reading
Fantastic.
our blogs. And the phraseology and how we break open the faith in a relevant way to young people is what we try to help parishes do, to really speak to where young people are at and help them tackle these difficult issues. We never dreamed that we'd be having to tackle all these issues when we didn't do this when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
So they need the church to be able to say, okay, here's how you go and here's how you approach this with love and here's how we respond as a church. The church is as relevant today as it ever has been. We just have to do a better job of helping young people to see that it is relevant.
You know, sometimes I hear Catholics and even people who are working in youth or young adult ministries say, well, we're going to just lose these young people until we change the teaching on some things, you know, like same-sex marriage and contraception and ordination of women and all this. So, I just read an article the other day from someone in Berkeley who works with young people and said, we'll never reach them without changing those things. And how do you guys look at it? What's your strategy? Help our listeners understand what you've got conviction about because you've seen its impact.
We disagree. What we see, the empirical evidence we're seeing with these teens going into seminary, getting married, having holy families is the more boldly we proclaim our faith and the more we give them the truth of the faith and we don't water it down and we feel ashamed for it. We need to be proud of what our faith is because it's a loving faith. It's a faith that really is saying this is the way I can be the most loving. And sometimes that's not an easy conversation. Sometimes it's hard. Young people respect it when you do that. And not only do they do that, they then disciple other people and they get other people involved in the faith. They're bringing their friends. They're bringing their families back to the faith, which is beautiful to see.
If I'm a parent watching today, my kids are raised, we're empty nesters now, but there's people watching who have children still at home, junior high, high school, and they're trying to deal with the onslaught of the cultural, challenge to the church and the church's teaching. And their kids are saying, the church is I don't want to go to the church that's so unloving. They don't love, gay people, and they don't let gay people get married. And a parent is trying to answer those questions, say, what does Life Teen have for me as a parent that I might be able to get my hands on to help me navigate this stuff and know how to speak about it or put something in front of my child that's compelling?
Yeah, we and a lot of parishes are implementing what we came up with as Parent Life. It's actually a support and prayer group for parents that they can go be with other parents to help navigate these waters. The beginning of next year, we're actually launching a new parent website for parents to go to. We provide resources for youth ministers that they can send to parents to help the parents know what the teens are learning that week within Life Teen, to start a dialogue. We don't operate independently from parents. We want to support parents. And today we need to pray for parents. And there's no time out. It's not like a football game where you have halftime or anything. It's ongoing like a rugby game. And people get injured and you have to drag them off the field. And parenting it's a difficult field to navigate, and the church needs to, I think, really step up its game and really help parents to navigate all these issues and really help them in this faith journey with their young people.
In this particular area, I think the teaching of Pope John Paul II, the theology of the body, is still untapped. I know you guys have tapped it, and I know lots of others have it. It is so powerful and moving, and it makes so much sense. But most young Catholics never hear it, and many parents don't know what it is. Do you have something on your website that can help them with this as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, check out some of the blogs on lifeteen.com and you'll be amazed. You can do a search and find topics, whatever you're looking at. There's blogs there for parents. There's blogs how you would talk to teenagers about specific issues that they may be facing.
Would if a pastor's watching and he wants to know more about Life Teen, what should he do?
Yeah, you can go to our website, www.lifeteen.com, and there's a whole bunch of information about how you'd sign up for it. We'd be glad to help you all the way with everything. All our staff has been previously youth ministers in parishes, so they're very used to talking to pastors and helping people to implement successful youth ministry in their parish.
Great. Well, Randy, you just have to take a short break. I want to tell friends about this new booklet I've written called light in the darkness. These are challenging times, and in some ways kind of dark times, but Jesus Christ is the light of the world, and he says, you're the light of the world. And I want to talk to you in this booklet about how you can engage with Christ and he can help lead you during these challenging times. We'll be back in just a minute. Friends, we're living through difficult and challenging times. The church is in a fierce battle. In the words of Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI, man is pushing God from the human horizon, and as a result, the light which comes from God is disappearing, and humanity is losing its bearings. In this moment, it's crucial that we hear the words of Jesus, who said, I'm the light of the world. He who follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. I wrote this short booklet to help you lay hold of this precious promise from Jesus so you can have the strength and the courage you need to be a light in the darkness. To order your free copy of Light in the Darkness, you can go to renewalministries.net or call 1-800-282-4789. Welcome back, friends. We're here with Randy Rouse, President and CEO of Life Teen. And Randy, this has been so good. I'm inspired by what you're doing. I'm inspired by the ministry, but I know there's a whole lot more going on. Would you tell us just all the different tentacles you guys have going out to reach people?
Yeah, yesterday I was at one of our camps in North Georgia doing an introduction. We just have 20 full-time missionaries starting their first year with us down in Georgia. We've been doing missions for about 7 years now, and now we're up to 20 a year that we're forming full-time missionaries to go out and do Catholic youth ministry or to serve the church in any manner. They spend a year in formation, and then we send them out.
Fantastic.
They help us put on our summer camps. We had over 5,800 requests for next summer for summer camp spots at our 2 camps in Georgia and 1 in California. Parishes sign up their teens. They're able to go for a week-long experience. The teens unplug from all their cell phones, have an amazing experience. And then about a month and a half ago, we hosted with the Knights of Columbus a Night of Mercy at the World Youth Day in Krakow, Poland. And Bishop Robert Barron helped lead adoration for the teenagers. One of our board members is Catholic musician Matt Maher. He led music along with Audrey Assad. And it was an amazing spirit-filled night with adoration and talks. 18,000 young people inside the arena, 10,000 people listening to it on speakers outside of the arena. So it's amazing to see how Life Teen is growing. The movement is growing in places like Spain and other countries. But our heart is all based on wanting to lead teenagers closer to Christ and provide parishes with opportunities to do that and partnering with these parishes so that they can lead their teens closer to Christ. So it's exciting.
Yeah, thank you so much. And friends, I don't want you to miss this moment, to think back to the beginning of Randy's testimony when he first came into the Catholic Church, and so a priest challenged him to really engage the mission of the church in some way. And he wasn't working full time. He just stepped in. He had never been trained in youth ministry, but he wanted to respond to the moment. And he just kept saying yes to Jesus. And as he was doing that and engaging the mission, as the recent popes have called all of us to do, he discovered that the Lord had a deeper calling. And it's a deeper calling, and as I'm listening to it, I just can kind of feel the momentum. Friends, it's good for us to stop and look at the good stuff that's happening in the church and how it's growing in the power of the Holy Spirit, in part because of good leadership. Friends, join us again next week for another edition of The Choices We Face. God bless you.